Hello, everyone. Welcome. Here we are, the 14th of January, 2026. I mentioned previously that I was going to come on and talk about, talk about the numerology, but actually do a reading for the year, but I've changed my focus. What I thought I'd share is the cards that come up in relation to the numerology. So there's been a bit of a discrepancy over which tarot card is the card for the year, but for me, it doesn't matter. It's what sings to your soul, what your teachings might be, what fits for you. But I'm just sharing that I love. So first of all, when we're breaking down 2026, we come to 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune. So I wanted to show you this Wheel of Fortune card here, and you can see the beings in the middle and the animals are around the outside. Absolutely beautiful. When we're looking at the Wheel of Fortune, we're looking at a card that's, partway through the major arcana, a very influential card. We talk about karma and we talk about dharma. And this tells us that there's going to be a lot of karma, as in what seeds have we sown to this point? So here we are, 2026, and it's like, what have we been putting down? What have we been laying down? What is it that we want to create? What is it that we want to even embody or be? It doesn't have to be do, it might be. So, there's been a lot of discussion, isn't it? Interesting when you're going from one year to the next, all the talk of the snake going into the fire horse. And yes, that happens, but you don't wake up one day and everything's different. The same with the cards. I mean, we know that the Chinese year is different to ours, but regardless, it's an energy that's coming in and going out. So there is a residual period, a period leading into and a period leading out of, whatever that is. So I just wanted to talk about that because when we're looking at the Wheel of Fortune, it's like we've been bringing this energy toward us, and here we are. So I believe when we look at the Wheel of Fortune, we can say, okay, well, what was that called when we look at the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn? It was actually the Lord of the Forces of Life. And the Wheel of Fortune is about the forces of life. They move. That is what we're looking at here. It's not, it's a flow, it's a movement, but it's a circular movement because, as we sow, we reap. What comes around goes around, all of those sayings, I guess. And so I wanted to talk about that. Now, when we talk about the Wheel of Fortune, it's like it's an opportunity to review what we've set down and what it is that we, what are we wanting to create? What are we going to sow right now? So not just what have we sown, what karma and dharma is, it's like what are we setting up for ourselves now, this year? So let's consider that. What's important to me? What do I want to do? What, same thing. And the Wheel of Fortune is related to Jupiter. Now, those of you who know Jupiter know that it's a very auspicious planet in astrology. And just as the Wheel of Fortune is an auspicious card, if we go back to Jupiter, we've got the growth, the expansion. It's quite a spiritual, that higher learning. And it's just like fortuitous. They talk about luck. The Wheel of Fortune can also be considered good luck. So you can see this card can play a pivotal point this year in regards to either how we've been setting it up or where to from here. So let's not forget the power of that, I believe. So when we look at the Wheel of Fortune, and I showed you the first card, it says we're going out and learning the lessons. Now, when we master the energy of the Wheel of Fortune, this is the card that comes up, which is absolutely beautiful. Look at this one. So here we have a wheel, and here the animals are in the middle. The beings are on the outside holding space for everything. And the card is so fluid. How is that? Absolutely amazing. You can see an energy shift. The Wheel of Fortune, it's like it's within. You can see it's like in the center of these two. So we look at the masculine and feminine and the balance, and we can see so much. So I hope you really enjoy that card as another depiction. Now, when we're looking at coming down, we look at the 10 and we break the 10 down to the 1. Where do we go with the 1? I believe, and this is just what I feel I want to follow this year in relation to the numerological year being number one is the Magician. And gotta love this Magician card. So, so magical. Look at that. Look at that. You know, there's so much symbology in this. We have, you know, the elements, earth, air, fire, and water, the four suits of the tarot, you know, they there as well. For those of you who know the tarot, you will see, you know, the pentacle, the wand, the sword, the cup. And one of the things about the Magician is his ability to manifest here on earth, or bring forth, not call forth the energy, more the energy. So it is like he's an intermediary from heaven to earth. So he's bringing forth that energy. It's bringing spiritual down into matter. So a very powerful card. Now, people think of the Magician, you know, he was called the Magus of Power. And those of you who have an understanding of the Thoth deck, the original Thoth deck had, I don't know if it had 3 or 4 Maguses in it. I think it had 3. Don't quote me on that, it was 3 or 4. But the thing was, you could choose to work with the one you wanted to work with. Now the deck's only got 1. But you could imagine the power in that. You know, what sort of Magus do I want to work with this year? Some might be, you know, feminine and some might be masculine, but it's about having that understanding. Now, many people think like the Magician relates to Mercury. So Mercury is all about that beautiful, it's quick, it's fast, it's about communication, good communication. It's the manager of the gods, really. And also it shows, I think it's the speed. It's just so fast. And I think when we're looking at the Magician, things can manifest just like that. So the Magician card is the first alchemical presentation in the major arcana. So I thought, yeah, for me, this is where I have to go. I love the lemniscate above his head. It is about, yeah, that whole power. So it's that power within, and we have the tools. Now, we always hear that component of the Magician, don't we? We always hear that we can just utilize the tools we have and we can create anything we want. But you know what? We also have to be aware that the Magician can be a little bit of a trickster. You know, there can be illusions. You think of going to a magic show. So it's being mindful of what is before you, and what is before you. Is it manifested? Is it physical? Is it something beyond the mind? You know, because Mercury is all about the thinking. So we know that there's the mind involved when we're bringing heaven to earth, you know. So again, I love it when we think about the Magician and we go, okay, this is the outward journey of the Magician we're on this year, loving, loving, loving this path. Could have gone into the Kabbalistic influence too. But anyway, we're not going to worry about that now. So it's on the path, and it's like, okay, if I go out and I master the energy of the Magician, what might that look like? So I'm going to show you the visual representation of that. Here is the Magician on the return journey. So he's got hold of all the symbolism. The symbolism is he's holding that. He's actually got some wings there. So we might feel there is a bit of an angelic energy with that as well. So it's like the alchemical process has been undertaken. So it's like you're mastering the energy of the Magician. You are the master. Here we can see there's tools all around. Here we can see I've utilized my tools and here I am. So when you walk the Magician's path this year, walk it with purpose. How do I want to show up? What is important to me? You know, I don't have to do. All I need to be is an alchemical representation of who I am. What alchemical process do I need to go through? What alchemical process do I need to set before me? So I hope you enjoy that little tidbit on the Magician, knowing that with all of these, it's no bed of roses, is there? There's 2 sides to the story, and we don't wake up in 2026 and think magic's gonna happen. We've got the Magician, because you know the Magician takes work. The Magician actually takes work. Anyone who's doing any trade has to learn their trade. So if we're stepping into being a magician, for whatever reason or form it takes practice. So let this year be the year that you hold out the tools before you and choose what it is that actually you're connecting with in this moment. What do I need to see? What do I need to see beyond? You know, we're moving away from the illusionary in some respects, but with the Pisces' influence in the chart, we've also got a presence with it. So let's see the magician unfold and know that you actually hold the key. So when you have that awareness and that understanding, that's where you're headed. Love it. And then now we're looking at the zero. So this is the 10, the 1 and the 0. And we are looking at the Fool. We all know the hero's journey, or the Fool's journey, if you like, in the tarot, and he's stepping out. Here he is. He's stepping off into the ravine with his dog at his heels. He's got his little knapsack. So it's your usual depiction of the Fool. So here we are, we're stepping into a new journey. And this does very much relate to being a 1 year, because the Fool is the beginning of the journey. But the way I liken it is the Fool is the embodiment. So for me, when he's going on his journey in the tarot, when he steps into the magician is when he starts embodying. And he is the one that is stepping into every archetype on his journey. So hence why I still really love the magician. If you like, it's the Fool stepping into the magician. That's my understanding. And we're all different. So, and it's not set in concrete, but it's what feels right for you. So when we look at the Fool, we're looking at the Golden Dawn's representation of that, the spirit of ether. Interesting, because that isn't manifest, is it? The spirit of ether could be anything related to spirit. So do we not understand that the Fool is embarking on this spiritual journey? We are all embarking on a spiritual journey, whether we like it or not, or whether we even have a conscious awareness of it or not, because of everything that's going on in the world. So I feel for when we're looking at that, we look at Uranus. When we're looking at astrology now, how amazing is that? Uranus is quite powerful in astrology at the moment, and it's about breaking through. It's about being independent. It's about rebellion even. So not conforming to everything. Look at the Fool. He took the risk. He jumps off the ravine. It's just so gives that sense of freedom, and I think we all are being urged to do that this year. What does freedom mean to you? What does it look like? We know that technology is certainly around, and we know that we either have to keep going with that, or we get left behind. So Uranus is very powerful. So I think the Fool has a lot to teach us. The planet Uranus has a lot to teach us. Well, it actually is the teacher in some respects. And it is also very much influential in astrology as well. So when we master things as the Fool, so this is telling us, when we go through the major arcana from 0 right around, well, when we get to the end, we come back. We come back. And this is like a card 22 here. This is the Fool. Back to the Fool. And look at this Fool. He's ready to start his next journey. Interesting. Not quite the same, is it? He's looking more blissful. He's learnt lots of lessons going around and around and around. And here he is in a whole new way. His dog's not trying to stop him. His knapsack's been, where is it? It's gone. It's empty. He has what he needs. He's standing in his surety. And he's just ready to go on the next journey. So this is beautiful as well. I love it. So going back to the original Fool, we look at the 0. So we've looked at the 10, we've looked at the 1, and we've looked at the 0. I don't know what else I can say other than all of those cards, planets, influences are relevant. Even the old meanings of the cards raise question. Or the Golden Dawn title. And even if you've got your own tarot deck that you love, that's really powerful as well. and look at the images and the depictions for that. But I want to bring my awareness, I guess, back to the magician. I believe I'm walking the magician's path as part of a collective. That's just what feels right for me. But each of us has our own path that we're walking based on what year we were born, and and that sort of thing. So if you get a chance, see if you can talk to someone and work out what your um path is for the year, or what your tarot card is for the year, because together, that and the magician, imagine what you could alchemize, imagine what you could bring forth. And I think it's interesting because it depends on when your birthday is through the year. Some people have a couple of cards, but if you're right near the beginning or the end, you usually focus on one. So I don't know that I have much else to share, except that when I think of alchemizing, I do think anything's possible, but I think we have to know our craft. I think we have to master our craft. And I don't think it's an end game. I think it's a journey. And so therefore, there's many, many roads along the way. So the alchemizing is happening along the way, and it's continuous. What's evolving, what's changing. So when we look at the laws of karma and dharma, when we look at the stepping into a new journey and trusting and knowing that, all that lays before us, be willing to be the novice and to be taught, and then bringing it around to the magician, to knowing that you may have all the tools, but you don't have all the answers. You have the tools, and the tools then help you step into. If you think about the magician card, it's bringing the spiritual down into the physical. So it's a physical card. And then when we go beyond the magician, we move to the high priestess, because it is obvious the high priestess needs to teach us about bringing our intuition into the physical, because that hasn't yet manifested. And then, of course, we go on to the Empress, and then we start to stepping into real manifestation. So you can see the growing of the cards. So coming back, focus, Robyn, focus, back to the magician. This journey at this point in time, however it speaks to you. So I think that's all I need to share. And I want to thank you for listening. And please share this video, or like and subscribe, whatever. I am sharing it on my Facebook page as well. And I'll look forward to speaking with you again in the not too distant future. So thank you. This is Robyn Ridley from the Goddess Sanctuary.